All right, your turn for a deck profile here. So who are you?
William Johnson.
And what did you do?
I got 36th place at the Indianapolis regional.
Playing what?
Zombie Eldlich.
So what makes it different from regular Eldlich?
So regular Eldlich is gonna play all of like your traps, like your maybe torrential tribute, skill drain, maybe your dogmatica stuff. But honestly, like the skills, like it just loses to too much right now. Honestly, like it loses to Lightning Storm, Feather Duster evenly. Like unless you have exactly Lord of Heavenly Prison in your hand, and that card kind of conflicts with the rest of your stuff because maybe you've activated a Sanguine and then you try to activate him and you can't because you can't summon anything other than zombies, and it's an issue. I don't like it.
All right. Well, let's get into the deck list here then.
Cool. So, first we play our Go Second cards here. 3 Ash Blossom. Not going to explain that. I played 2 Forbidden Droplet. This card was just kind of bad. Like, I know it's a good card, and sometimes it's really good, especially to out a Dragoon. I never saw a Dragoon today, or on the day of the regional. So, I wouldn't play it. Yeah. 3 Super Poly. The extra deck is full of Super Poly targets. I might play this again, but I'd probably side deck it instead of main decking it. Theoretically, it should be main deckable because you can play Dragon Neck or Nether Soul, but it's just you lose a lot of advantage by discarding a card, and then I don't know, sometimes they'll have like a barrier statue, or they'll have like other things that make Super Volley just kind of bad, or you're already in a winning position. This is what I found. I was already in a winning position where I had Super Volley, and it was just like, well, this card doesn't help advance my game state. Like, my opponent doesn't have monsters, so.
Would you consider putting it in the side deck, or are you just saying like take it out altogether?
I think it definitely could deserve a spot in the side deck. It's really good against the decks that it's good in.
Especially with the Despia format coming up.
Yeah. See, that's what has me hesitant. Like, you know, Triffy and Starving Venom are just so good against the Despia stuff. Honestly, Super Poly has a place somewhere in this deck.
Okay.
I don't know if it's side deck or here.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into the monsters. 3 Unizombie, best zombie starter. No reason to really explain that one. Played at 3. You could play Shiranui Solitaire too, but honestly, that card loses super duper hard to Ash, or Imperm, or Veiler. So, you know, you'll normal summon it, and your opponent can either Veiler, Imperm, or Ash it, and then it just you don't get the effect, and it's bad. So just don't play it. 2 Eldlich, very standard for Eldlich builds. I played 2 Ballardrock. I think 1 is probably correct. I probably would have played a Jack-o'-Bolan instead. Like, play 1 Ballardrock and 1 Jack-o'-Bolan. Just because, I don't know. The thing is, once you have 1 Ballardrock going, it's similar to DPE in that your opponent needs to like find an out to it. So it's not really, there's really no need to have like multiples. So I think 1 is probably fine. I played 2 Glow Up Bloom. A lot of this is because like when I used to play classical zombies where you'd play like 3 Super Poly and 3 Rivalry, and your whole goal was get Zombie World and do that. You'd play the 2 Glow Up Bloom, but I think 1 is probably just all you need. 2 is kind of unnecessary. 2 Banshee. Banshee should stay at 2. Banshee's a good card. 1 Mizuki. I think you could play Mizuki at 0, 1, 2, or 3 in this list, and I don't think you'd be incorrect. Mizuki's fine. I think playing it, I played it at 1 mainly because it's a secret rare, and I got to flex it. So,
do you only have 1 secret rare?
I only have one. I only have 1 secret rare.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's fine. Moving on to the spells, I played 3 Elixir of Black Awakening. I'd probably play 2, just because it's terrible to have more than 1 of it. Because if you activate the first one, it goes to the grave, and you have another one in hand. Next turn, you can only either activate the one in grave or the one in hand, and that's just terrible. So I would say cut that down to 2. 2 White Destiny. White Destiny doesn't work the same way since it's a quick play, so you can activate it during the end phase of your opponent's turn, summon a zombie, and then use its banish effect immediately after and gain some advantage that way. It's really good. Play it at 2. I've seen people play it at 1, play it at 2. It's good. 3 Cursed Eldland. No need to explain that one. It's your searcher. Play it. 3 Zombie World. Zombie World is really, really good against the decks it's really good against. Dragon Link, Tri-Brigade, Flunder. So it's really nice to play 3 of it. It also gets your engine rolling with Glow Up Bloom and all of that. In the matchups where it's not so good, just side it out. Play it at 1. No more to say about that. Play your terraforming as well in order to search it, and then just your power 1-ofs, your Called by the Grave and Foolish Burial, because obviously you're playing those. Onto the traps. 3 Conquistador. No need to really say anything about that. Play 3 of it. It's a good card. I've seen people play not 3 Walkero. I've seen them play 2. Play 3. It's a good card. It gets your whole engine rolling. 3 Scarlet Sanguine, obviously. And then I've seen people not playing this. This card is literally just Solemn Judgment that's searchable. Like, what are you doing if you're not playing this in this deck? This card's insane.
We move on to the side deck?
Actually, one other thing I want to say about this is that since you're playing 3 different Eldlichers, Black Awakening, White Destiny, and Scarlet Sanguine, it's not impossible that you'll have all 3 at one point in your graveyard. You want to have 3 different targets, so that's another reason to play your Golden Land Forever, so that you have a 3rd target. Alright, moving on into the side deck here. Honestly, this needs some overhauling. Some of it, I believe, is correct. Some of it, not so much. In terms of what's correct, I think 3 Judgment. I think you have to play that.
Those are pretty.
I have ultis, but I don't want to play the ultis because they could get damaged, and I want to keep them. But yeah, the 3 Judgment, it's good against like Evenly, Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, all of that type of stuff. I think you should be playing 3. I think it's too good not to. I also was able to stop a Baron summon, so that was pretty good. Play Judgment. 1 Feather Duster, because obviously. Then everything else here I think is debatable. So I played 1 Pankratops. It's fine. I just had an extra slot, and Pankratops fit the slot. Reason I had the extra slot was because I played the Sanctum package with Scythe. I did have somebody Feather Duster me when I drew the Scythe, and that was very funny, because then I just Scythe locked them, or they Scythe locked themselves. But would I play this again? Maybe not. It's good though because it is a level 5 light, and you can use that with Walkero and Conquistador to go into Pleiades. Pleiades is just so unbelievably good in this deck. So I think it's worth consideration, but maybe not always good. Maybe you play Lancia as well in order to make sure that you have other targets for Sanctum. Anyway, moving on. DD Ground. So as you can see, a lot of this side deck, the issue is that I've got a lot of going first cards. I've got the Sanctums, the Judgments, the DD Grounds. DD Ground was also just crazy good. It stopped a lot of turns, like against Plunder, Dragon Link, you name it. Cards, very good. Likely, I would be cutting this stuff and just play the DD Grounds and the Judgments, though. That's probably what I would do. And then the 3 Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched was kind of bad all day, honestly. Like, the only deck where I was like, hey, I'm so glad I have Evenly Matched was against an Eldlich player. And if you're not winning the Eldlich matchup with this deck, it's you have to be trying to lose the Eldlich matchup with this deck.
What makes this better than its pure?
So you have Ballardrock, and Ballardrock can negate both of Eldlich's effects. So you can wait for your opponent to use the Eldlich in hand effect, negate it with the Ballardrock, and then when your opponent uses the engrave effect, they'll send a card for cost, and then you just banish that Eldlich. Like, Ballardrock is just such a house against Eldlich himself. And they're never getting rid of it. It doesn't even matter if they get rid of your zombie world, because Ballardrock responds to any zombie, and Eldlich is a zombie. So, like, yeah. And basically, you're winning that matchup anyway, so it's just not really necessary to be playing evenly matched. Moving on.
Yep.
To the extra deck. So, 2 Sucker. Sucker is your best extra deck monster. Play it. I actually had one play where I went into Sucker with an open board state, and I had a Ballardrock in hand. My opponent had a Zeus and a Griffin Rider, and I summoned the Vampire Sucker. Waited. I'm like, do you have anything on summon? They say no, and so I just go, okay, tribute over Griffin Rider and Zeus, and that was just like, that was game over at that point. They were just like, oh man, okay. Play Sucker. Avenged Savior. Avenged Savior's really underrated because you can send Glow Up Bloom for cost during damage calc. So Glow Up Bloom will trigger in damage calc, and they can't ash it. Like, they can't ash Avenged Savior or Glow Up Bloom in that window, and so you can get a Ballardrock to the field through all of that.
Yeah.
And they can't impermit, they can't, Chalice, Widow Anchor, any of it. So it's really good. Play your 1 Relinquished Anima in order to get Glow Up Bloom off your field in case you draw it. 1 Pleiades. As I've said, Pleiades is nuts. I played 1 of Vampire Fascinator. It's kind of alright because you can summon something from your opponent's graveyard on summon. I probably wouldn't play it again though. Omega, you can use either Unizombie or Ash Blossom plus 1 of the level 5s in order to go into this. He can both rip cards out of your opponent's hand and recycle Eldlich cards. So the card's busted in this deck. Gustav Max and Juggernaut Lieb. This came up once. Did win the game off it. You'll summon an Eldlich like during your opponent's end phase. Go into Rail Cannon, donk him for 2,000, summon this guy, swing for 6k twice, and just win the game. And then Super Poly targets Nether Soul, Dragospelia, Starving Venom, Triffy, Mud Dragon, Mad Golden Lord. These were good. I'd probably play Rocket Ride as well. If I could, I'd probably cut the Fascinator for Rocket Ride. There's also some other like niche targets like Draco Equist if you're trying to like use a Borreload Savage plus like a Baron, and then maybe Guilty Gearfried for like DPE plus Baron. There's a few other choices that I kind of want to tinker around with, but this is sort of where I ended up.
All right. Well, any shout outs you want to give out?
Definitely Yu-Gi-Oh! Ohio team here, as well as Heroes and Games for sure. They're the locals here. Go Doug. As well as people who gave us this map, Refined Gaming.
Oh, they got one over here.
And No Limit Gaming as well. They definitely have supported us. So I think that's all I've got.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.